right, what's going on, boys? I'm back after a long Saturday live show to discuss the Coca Cola 600 tomorrow. Now, you guys know I'll be live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern on the Run Pure Bets YouTube channel. It'll be me. It'll be Spread to cover the NBA playoffs. D said he's going to come and hang out with us, possibly other people, right? But why are we going to be on the live show? We're going to be on the live show to bet the biggest race of the weekend, in my opinion. I know the Indianapolis 500 is tomorrow. Doesn't mean anything to me. Doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not an Indy guy. NASCAR is where it's at. And between NASCAR and golf, they are by far the most profitable sports that we cover on the website. Obviously, we made about 5 units today on Ty Gibbs on the Xfinity race during the live show. And we're going to be back tomorrow doing the same exact thing. So let's dig in to the Coca-Cola 600. Now, normally I have my guy Coop on with me for these pre-race videos. Unfortunately, his work schedule has changed, kind of leaves me alone in the lurch, but that's okay. I mean, we're just going to continue to do what we do. Now, let's talk about the Coca-Cola 600. So here are the practice times on NASCAR.com, okay? Now, we haven't had a lot of practice sessions this year, and the practice sessions that we've had have been on short tracks, like the Bristol Dirt Race, last week at Coda, the road course. We had a practice session. But this is the first time this year that we're going to have a practice session on an oval, okay? Now, you guys hear me say, like, cookie cutter ovals all the time. What do I mean by that? Well, super speedways are 2.5 miles, right? Daytona, Talladega. There aren't many 2-mile tracks at all, right? For the most part, a cookie cutter oval is on a 1.5 mile track. Anything else is considered a short track. You got Dover with the Monster Mile. Darlington is about a mile, I want to say. Tracks like Bristol, 1/2 mile track. Martinsville, 3/4 of a mile track. Richmond, another short track. So when we talk about cookie cutter ovals, it's really 1.5 mile tracks for the most part. Okay. Now, we have had 4 1.5 mile tracks so far this year. Now, at Homestead, Will Byron, Hendrick Motorsports car, won at Homestead. At Las Vegas, Kyle Larson, who should be the odds-on favorite right now to win the NASCAR championship. He won at Las Vegas on a 1.5 mile track. Atlanta, we were at, right? Blaney won that race, but worth noting, Kyle Larson finished second in that race. Alex Bowman, another Hendrick car, finished third in that race. And then the last 1.5 mile track that we were actually at was Kansas. And we saw some of the old champions finally start to get right. Kyle Busch gets his first win of the year at Kansas. Kevin Harvick, another NASCAR Cup Series champion, finishes second in that race. Now, Kevin Harvick, he's at Stewart-Haas Racing. There has not been a lot to celebrate this year when it comes to Stewart-Haas. But, you know, nevertheless, Harvick finishes second. Now, Kyle Busch finally gets right after about 1.5 years where he didn't look good at all. We know that's Joe Gibbs Racing. And for the last year, if we're being fair, Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin have been the two best cars at Joe Gibbs Racing. But Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin have not won a race this year on a 1.5-mile track. But Kyle Busch has. All right. So that's where we start. Those are the 1.5-mile tracks so far this year. So digging in, well, I guess we can start with qualifying. Okay, so once again, we're in another spot where Hendrick Motorsports absolutely crushes qualifying, right? Kyle Larson, he's on the pole, Hendrick Motorsports car. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with another Chevy, he sneaks into the top. He sneaks into the top row, right? But then Chase Elliott and Will Byron in row 2, both Hendrick Motorsports cars. And then we rounded out. Alex Bowman qualifies 7th. So all 4 Hendrick Motorsports cars will start the race in the top 7. Now, earlier in the week, Kyle Larson was about 5-1 to win the race. He was the odds-on favorite, right? Since then, I've seen 5-1 in a couple spots. I've seen 4-1 now after he qualified first in a couple spots. I've even seen plus 375 since he qualified first. Now, can I bet somebody to win a race, which is the longest race of the year on the NASCAR Cup Series circuit? Can I bet somebody at plus 375 or plus 400 or even plus 450 to win a race? I can't, man. If I'm being honest, I can't. I can't bet Kyle Larson at odds like that. I thought the true number for Larson in this race was 5.5-1. There are some 5-1 spots that you can find. I still think that's a little light. I think 5.5-1 is the right number for Kyle Larson. So am I going to back him right from the door? I'm not. And I'll tell you why. Because if you really start to... Now, I haven't talked about consecutive lap average times in a while because we really haven't had practice sessions all that much this year. But all we can go off as far as data are practice sessions in the end, right? Now, you know, somebody that puts down a fast lap, that doesn't mean anything to me. What I'm looking for when it comes down to practice sessions is I want to know what their 5, 10, 15, and 20 consecutive lap average times are. That's when you really start to get a feel for where a car is going to be 20 laps into the race. Once you get to that 20 lap mark, that starts to slide into, you know, short run speed as opposed to long run speed. Once you get into that 20 lap and above, that's what the car is going to do on the long run, barring cautions, right? Now, oftentimes at Charlotte Motor Speedway, because the track is so wide, cars tend to get into the long run. So when we look at somebody like Kyle Larson and we start to take a look at what did they do, forget about his qualifying lap. That doesn't mean much. What was Kyle Larson doing on his consecutive lap average times? 5 lap, 10 lap, 15, 20. If you guys take a look right here, right, his 5 lap consecutive average time's really fast. He ran a 30.13, which was just about the fastest 5 lap consecutive average time in the field. And if we're being honest, even if you take a look at his 10 lap consecutive average, not much fall off. 30.167, very fast, right? But when you start to take a look at where he is slightly later into the run, when we're talking about 30.35 after 15 laps, that's a big fall off. Look at his 20 lap average, a huge fall off. He's running almost 30.8 20 laps into his run, right? That's a lot less impressive than what some of the Hendrick cars have done. Look, right above him, Chase Elliott. Okay, they're about even. Give Kyle Larson the edge, right? In his 5 lap time, Larson's about a tenth of a second back. Take a look at their 10 lap time. Chase Elliott's still about 1.5 tenths back, right? But once you get into that 15 lap, 20 lap range, if you look at the fall off of Kyle Larson and where he is in his 20 lap run, and then you take a look at somebody like Chase Elliott is faster in his 15 lap average and his 20 lap average. So I don't think that Kyle Larson's going to be the fastest Chevy tomorrow in the long run. Now take a look at Will Byron up here, okay? His 5 lap average time, he's running 30.2. That's about a tenth of a second back from Kyle Larson. His 10 lap average, he's running 30.25. Still slightly behind Larson, right? But the big difference with Will Byron is he's keeping his speed 15 to 20 laps into the run. 30.291, 30.291, 30.25. If you're asking me, who do I think is going to be the fastest Hendrick Motorsports car tomorrow based on their long run, to me, I think it's Will Byron. Now, we don't have much data on Alex Bowman. We only have a 5 lap consecutive average time, but even still, his 5 lap average time is still 0.3 of a second slower than what Will Byron was doing, and almost 5.5 of a second back of what Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott were doing, right? So I have a feeling Alex Bowman will probably be the slowest Hendrick car tomorrow. And on the short run, I think Kyle Larson's going to be really good. But if you're asking me, who do I think is going to be your best long run speed on Hendrick tomorrow, I think it's going to be Will Byron based on these times. He is not dropping much time from lap 1 to lap 20 at all. So I kind of feel like Will Byron's going to be sharp tomorrow. I really do. Now, Will Byron has already won a race on a 1.5 mile track this year. He did it at Homestead, right? But to be fair, Kyle Larson has already won a race on a 1.5 mile track, and Kyle Larson has finished like second. I want to say like 3 out of the last 4 races. I mean, he's been an absolute stud, Kyle Larson. Now, Run Pure Bet subscribers got on Kyle Larson to be top 3 in the NASCAR championship standings at plus 230 2 months ago. Take a look at where he is right now. He's about plus 120 to finish in the top 3. So we're in a really good spot there. Now, am I saying that Kyle Larson's going to, am I saying that Will Byron's going to win the Coca Cola 600? Not necessarily. I'm not exactly saying that. Do I think that it's a possibility that he can win the race tomorrow? 100%. Okay. And taking a look at the odds right now, Hendrick Motorsports crushed qualifying. They finished 1, 3, 4, and 7, I think, right? So all 4 cars are in the top 7 in terms of where they're going to start on the grid tomorrow. So Hendrick, they've been the best team all year. They look like they're going to be phenomenal tomorrow night. If I was going to throw one more team into the mix tomorrow, it would be Gibbs. I think that Kyle Busch is going to run really well tomorrow. I think Martin Truex Jr. is going to run really well tomorrow. I'm undecided on where Denny Hamlin and Chris Bell fits into the mix tomorrow. But I think if you take the 4 Hendrick Motorsports cars and then you add in Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. from Gibbs, I think that those are probably the 6 best drivers in the race tomorrow. If I was going to add like a 7th and an 8th car, I guess you have to give respect to Penske. Keselowski won this race last year, even though it was because Chase Elliott went down pit road with a couple laps to go. But to be fair, Keselowski won the race last year. Historically, Ryan Blaney has been really good here. So I do think that, Penske is going to have 1 or 2 of the top 8 cars in the race tomorrow. But I feel like they're going to be in the back of the pack. I really think that this race is going to come down to who's going to win the race, Hendrick Motorsports or Joe Gibbs Racing. My gut says Hendrick Motorsports. Now, taking a look at the odds of which team will win the race, okay? Right now, Hendrick Motorsports is plus 135 to win the race tomorrow. If you were a Run Pure Bet subscriber, you would have got them at plus 180 on Monday. So I threw them up on the sheet on Monday at plus 180. The value has passed you by. You really can't bet them now. Now, Joe Gibbs Racing, I also threw on the sheet at plus 175 because I thought we can probably scrape 3/4 of a unit because I really feel like either one of those teams is going to win the race tomorrow. Now Joe Gibbs is up to plus 200. Why? Because of how good that Hendrick Motorsports looked in qualifying, right? So I'm feeling pretty good about the price that subscribers got on Hendrick at plus 180. Now, taking a look at matchups, there's really only one. I went through 10 different books. I looked at literally every single matchup that you can bet tomorrow from all the books that I have access to, 10 to 12 legal books. The only matchup tomorrow that I would even consider betting, because the market, I said this 2 weeks ago, once June 1st hits, the market tends to tighten up when it comes to NASCAR. And you can already see that in the matchups. If I was going to bet one matchup this week, I think I would take Will Byron over his teammate, Alex Bowman, at minus 115. I think that Will Byron has been on a special run. He starts the year with 9 out of 10 top 10s. He finishes 11th last week, even though they cut the race short. He should have been in the top 10, but he wasn't. Now, I think Will Byron's going to be right back in the top 10 this week. I'm not sure I can say the same thing for Alex Bowman. So I think if you're going to bet one matchup this week, it would be Will Byron over Alex Bowman at minus 115. Now, on Monday, I bet Will Byron to finish in the top 10 at minus 150. I did not put it on the spreadsheet for Run Pure subscribers because I really don't want them to lay 150 if they don't have to. So I didn't put it on the sheet. It was just a personal bet. Right now, DraftKings is hanging minus 220 for Will Byron to finish in the top 10. So that's completely unbettable now. I wouldn't have even given it out to my people at minus 150. Right now it's minus 220. I think that's unbettable, personally. Now, for people that have top 5 finishes, I'm not going to lay 160 that Larson finishes in the top 5. Do I think he's going to finish in the top 5? Probably. Do I think he has an excellent chance to win the race? Yes. Am I going to tell people to lay 160 that he finishes in the top 5? Absolutely not. Martin Truex. I think Martin Truex Jr. is live to finish in the top 5 at minus 118. Am I going to tell you guys, am I going to put my name on him reaching the top 5 at minus 118? No, I'm not. I don't like that price. Gun to my head, do I think he gets there? Probably. Chase Elliott minus 125 to finish in the top 5. Not interested. Do I think he has a good shot to get there? Yes. Am I looking to lay 125? Not really. I think Will Byron to hit the top 5 at plus 160. I think that's not a bad price. Kyle Busch to hit the top 5 at plus 110. I don't hate that either because I think historically, Kyle's really strong at Charlotte. And he looks to finally be putting the pieces together on that race team, especially on 1.5-mile tracks. So do I think Kyle could hit the top 5 at plus 110? I do. I think he could. I would like a little bit better value. That's why I tend to gravitate towards give me the plus 160 on Will Byron to hit the top 5. I gravitate towards that. Now, here's the thing with Hendrick, right? Historically, Kyle Larson's not good at Charlotte. Historically, Will Byron is not good at Charlotte, but Hendrick Motorsports right now has such a good quality of race car that it doesn't even matter. They are equipment for equipment. They are blowing the other race teams right now absolutely out of the water. Now, Chase Elliott's good here. If you guys take a look at his average finishes, he's won here before. He's really, really good at Charlotte. And he's going to have great equipment tomorrow. Now, our guy Coop has been saying for like 6 weeks, Chase Elliott's due. He's going to win one of these races sooner or later. I think that Chase Elliott has a phenomenal chance to win the race tomorrow because he's good here anyway. It suits his driving style, and nobody has better equipment right now in NASCAR as a whole than Hendrick Motorsports does. I think when they hung that line at plus 180 for Hendrick to win the race, I thought it was a joke, man. They should have been plus 125. Now you're starting to see that number creep down to that plus 125 mark. So If I was gonna back a top five tomorrow, my gut would tell you guys take the shot on Will Byron at plus 160. Maybe take the shot on Kyle Busch at plus 110. If I was gonna bet a matchup tomorrow, it would be Byron minus 115 over Alex Bowman. I think that Alex Bowman has been good this year. But I think that Will Byron has been more proven. I think that Byron has been better on the whole. So I'm not afraid to take that matchup, Byron over Bowman at minus 115. Now, for you guys should have groups. Let me hit the groups. Taking a look at, I guess we'll go with DraftKings, right? Group A has Elliott at plus 250, Kyle Larson at plus 190 over Truex and Kyle Busch. My gut says take Larson and Elliott, take both Hendrick cars to finish better than Truex and Kyle Busch. Now, you're either going to pick up 1.5 units with Chase Elliott, or you're going to pick up almost a full unit on Kyle Larson. I think that those two guys combined should beat Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch tomorrow. Even though it's worth noting, the only two cars that I would bet on besides Hendrick Motorsports tomorrow would be Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch. So it makes sense that those are the two cars from Gibbs that are in Group A with Larson and Elliott. Looking at Group B, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney. My gut says Keselowski and Harvick are probably the two drivers that you would take in Group B over Denny and Ryan Blaney. Harvick looked really good in practice, didn't look bad in qualifying. Brad Keselowski didn't look phenomenal, but he knows how to win here. He won the Coca Cola 600 last year. And, generally, Penske is pretty strong on 1.5 mile tracks. So in Group B, I would give the edge to Keselowski and Harvick. In Group C, Will Byron, Alex Bowman, Joey Logano, and Chris Bell. In my opinion, this is the easiest group to win money on. I think you take Byron and Bowman, both, and those two Hendrick cars should finish better than Joey Logano and Chris Bell tomorrow. Now, if Bowman wins, you'll win a little over a unit. If Will Byron wins, you'll win a little less than a unit. But I feel like that's pretty safe, taking Byron and Bowman in Group C to beat Logano and Bell. I don't expect Chris Bell to do much tomorrow. And to be honest, Joey Logano, historically, out of Harvick, Keselowski, Blaney, I think Logano probably finishes worst out of those four Fords. So give me Byron and Bowman in Group C over Logano and Bell. In Group D, you got Dillon, Reddick, Matt DiBenedetto, and Kurt Busch. I can see Kurt Busch getting up to win this group at plus 350. And if I was going to give you I know Austin Dillon qualified well. I'm not buying it. I got Austin Dillon tomorrow. Give me Tyler Reddick and Kurt Busch in that group over Austin Dillon and Matt DiBenedetto. In Group B, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Cole Custer, Michael McDowell, Ryan Newman. I'll be honest, now I'm not a big Ricky Stenhouse guy, but he looked great in practice, and he qualified really well. So I kind of lean that he's going to win that group, but not at minus 134. I think that those odds are ridiculous. That's only because he qualified so high in the front row. Ricky's going to start position 2 on the pole. So I think the only reason why he's minus 134 is because he qualified so high. So that's a pass for me. Group E is a pass for me. Group F, Eric Jones, Bubba Wallace, Corey LaJoie, Ryan Preece. Also a pass for me. I think that Eric Jones and Bubba Wallace, probably one of those two wins. But am I going to take Eric Jones at plus 110 and Bubba Wallace at plus 170 to win that group? Absolutely not. Group E, pass. Group F, pass. I think that A, B, C, and D are bettable, though. All right. Let's take a look at top car by manufacturer. Trying to cover everything here for you boys. All right. Top car by manufacturer, Chevy. Now, this is the tough one. Why do I say that? Because probably the 4 best cars in the race are Chevys. Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Will Byron, Alex Bowman. I mean, they're all beasts. Now, they got Kyle Larson at plus 180. They got Chase Elliott at plus 260. They got Will Byron at 6-1. They got Alex Bowman at 6.5-1. And then they got Austin Dillon at 13-1. All right, gun to my head, based on the practice sessions and where Kyle Larson was with his consecutive lap average times and how badly he fell off once he got 15 and 20 laps into the run, you know what I'm going to say, boys? Throw him out. Have we cashed our tickets on Kyle Larson this year? Yeah. We hit him at 10-1. We hit him at 6-1. We hit him at 4-1 twice. We've already made our money on Kyle Larson, okay? But if we're looking to cash a price tomorrow, my gut says throw him out. Throw him out. I think he's got the fastest car for... If we're talking about give me one driver to run one fastest lap, give me Kyle Larson. If we're talking about who's going to be the fastest car 15, 20, 25 miles into the run, well, no, that wouldn't be true. Not miles, laps, because they're 1.5 miles. So, yeah, if we're talking about who's going to be the fastest Chevy 15, 20, 25 laps into the run, based on his practice times, doesn't look like it's going to be Kyle Larson, at least at the start tomorrow. Now, all these teams make adjustments. Every time they go down pit road, they get better, they get worse. So by the end of the race, Kyle Larson might have the nuts. He might have the absolute best car on the track. But all I can judge him on is how he's going to look going into the race. And he will not have the fastest Chevy tomorrow on his 15, 20, 25 lap consecutive average times, okay? That's clearly either going to be Chase Elliott or it's going to be Will Byron. So, listen. Might we bet Kyle Larson tomorrow live during the show? It's possible. I mean, that's live betting. You never know what you're going to bet. But if you're telling me, give me a Chevy right now, that's going to be the top Chevy, I'm going to say take Will Byron at 6-1 and take Chase Elliott at plus 260. And you know what? If Kyle Larson beats you, he beats you. You're going to have the opportunity to bet Kyle Larson to win the race tomorrow anyway. So why not go for the price? So I'm going to say, give me Chase Elliott or Will Byron to be your top Chevy tomorrow. So that's Chevy. As far as your top Ford, Kevin Harvick, he looked good. He looked good in practice. Keselowski didn't look bad either. Harvick plus 260. You got Keselowski plus 275. Joey Logano 3-1. Ryan Blaney 3.5-1. Matt DiBenedetto 20-1. My gut says that these odds are right. I think that your top four tomorrow will probably either be Kevin Harvick or Brad Keselowski. One of them is plus 260. One of them is plus 275. That seems about right to me. That feels right. I think the odds are right there. So one of those two, I think, will be your top Ford. Top Chevy, Martin Truex Jr. plus 135. Kyle Busch plus 190. My gut says Kyle Busch plus 190 is going to be your top Chevy tomorrow. Now, historically, Martin Truex has been spectacular at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's why he's plus 135. I think if you bet either one of those, you can't go wrong. I guess you could scrape a half unit profit if you want to bet them both. But you know what? Based on their 20, 25 lap average times, I'm going to say give me Kyle Busch at plus 190. Give me Kyle Busch at plus 190 to be the top Toyota. Now, you can bet them both and scrape a little profit. But if you're saying, Keg, give me one guy, give me Kyle Busch at plus 190. I liked his practice session a lot. So that takes care of Top Car by Manufacturer. What else we got, boys? Now, manufacturer of winning car, right? Chevy plus 105, Toyota plus 195, Ford plus 260. Don't ever bet this bet, ever, okay? If a Chevy is going to win the race, it's going to be Hendrick Motorsports. If a Toyota is going to win the race, it's going to be Joe Gibbs Racing. If a Ford is going to win the race, it's either going to be Penske or Stewart-Haas, right? So don't ever bet Chevy, Toyota, Ford. Go right to the race teams where you get the best possible price that you can get. Toyota's 2-1 right now. Hendrick Motorsports is plus 140. So why would you bet Chevy at plus 5 when you can get Hendrick at plus 150? Now, again, runners, drivers got Chevy or Hendrick at, you lost the value there. The closing line value's gone. So you can't even bet it. All right, so as far you guys, like, if you want me to give you an outright winner for the race tomorrow, it's so easy to say Kyle Larson at 5-1, Chase Elliott at 5-1, Truex at 6-1, Busch at 8-1. Like, it's just too easy. I mean, yeah. They're the 4 best drivers probably in the sport. It's easy to pick them, right? I'm going to say Will Byron at 12-1. He's already won on a 1.5-mile track this year, and his consecutive lap average times blew Larson's out of the fucking box. Blew him out of the box on the long run. So you know what? Give me fucking Will Byron at 12-1. Why not? Why not? I think he's got a great shot to finish in the top 3 at plus 300. And I like him to finish in the top 5 at plus 160. The kid's a beast this year. He's a beast. Nobody goes 9 and top 10s. The kid's like a baby. He could be my son. And he's a machine this year. So, yeah. Does Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott, should they be the odds-on favorite? Yes. Do I think that they have the best chance to win the race? Yes. But you know what? If you're saying give me one pre-race look, give me Will Byron at 12-1. I think there's really good value in that number. I really do. Based on his body of work this year, based on the fact that he's already won on a 1.5-mile track, based on the fact that his consecutive lap average times blew Elliott and Larson out of the water. I say take the shot on Will Byron at 12-1 tomorrow. I might throw a couple bucks on him at 12-1. Now you guys know me. You know, the majority of my outright betting is live. That's why I do what I do. But if you're asking me for a pre-race look, I think it's going to be a Hendrick car. I think it's going to be Byron, Elliott, or Larson. So why not take the best odds at 12-1 on Will Byron to get his second win this year on a 1.5 mile track? Why not? I think he's got just as good a chance. I'll be honest. If I was going to bet anybody besides a Hendrick car, it would be Gibbs. It would be Truex and Busch, who are 6 and 8-1. Who do I think leads the most laps? It's so hard to tell, man. That's so hard to tell. I couldn't give you a true, like, educated guess, like a real hypothesis on that, because anything can happen. It's so hard to tell who's going to lead the most laps. But I know, like, Rump Pure subscribers on Hendrick at plus 180 and Gibbs at plus 180. So I think we're going to scrape 3/4 of a unit profit there. The one play that I will give out on the show as an official play is going to be Will Byron over Alex Bowman at minus 115. We'll rock with that play because I think Byron should finish ahead of Alex Bowman. If I was going to give you a second play, it would probably be Will Byron top 5 at plus 160. If you're asking me, give me 2 drivers tomorrow that you think win the race, I'll say Elliott at 6-1 and Byron at 12-1. Those would be the 2 that I'll rock with. But I'll have at least one more play on the spreadsheet for Rump Pure Bet subscribers, and then tomorrow night I'll be back 6 p.m. sometime around there, maybe 5:30, 6, somewhere right around there. I'll be back. I'll be on all race long. We hit Gibbs today at 6.5-1, so we got the chicken there. Spread's going to be on with me tomorrow for the NBA playoffs. D said he'll come and hang out. There's some soccer games going on. And then before the show, JJ, Joey, and Holden will run down the entire MLB slate at noon. Open to the public. Tomorrow's show is going to be open to the public. So that's it, boys. Try to lay it out for you guys as best I can. I'm excited about the race. It's one of my favorite races of the year. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Where's Coop? Coop's gone, Johnny. He works like 14 days on, 1 day off for foreseeable future, unfortunately. But I got the winner's group, bro. You know who I am. But I'm hoping that Coop will be back soon. I break this every other day to come back, but like he literally has no time at all, or he would be on the show. He'll be working tomorrow. He won't even watch the race. So, all right, I'll be back, boys, tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Tomorrow at noon, JJ, Joey, and Holden got you covered for the MLB. So if we're talking what's the official play, give me Byron over Bowman at minus 115. I gave you guys a shit ton of nuggets to, comb through the video. There's angles everywhere. But one official play, Byron over Bowman in a matchup -115. Aside from that, hope your action runs pure this weekend. Make that money. I'll see you tomorrow. Later.